What's up, Green Lantern fans? It's the Emerald Enthusiast, coming at you with another action figure review. This time I'm taking a look at the 2011 Mattel 4 action figure box set of Green Lanterns, Green Man, Hannu, Sinestro, and Hal Jordan. Each one of these figures is approximately 4 inches tall and comes with a construct accessory. But before we talk about them, let's get a look at the package details. On the bottom front, we get a shot of Ryan Reynolds, and there are the 4 lanterns included in this box set. We get a shot of Oa in the background, and it also gives a partial Green Lantern oath on the front. There's a partial window on the top, product information on the bottom. On the side, there's another partial window. The opposite side is the same, with a partial window and a list of the lanterns included in this 4-figure box set. The back left of the packaging features character shots from the movie with their respective sectors. The back right of the packaging features full-body product shots of the figures with their respective accessories. Each figure is visible through the front window in an action shot, and I also like that we get this wearable ring included in this box set. But with no further ado, now it's time to bust these figures out of the package and see what's inside. Here are the figures free of the outer box, but still bound to the inner plastic. Here's a look at the wearable ring, and rings like this were included in many of the movie tie-in products. There's lots of magnificent sculpting on this. It actually has a very realistic look. It has a coarse texturing, and it's split here in the back, and that will allow you to get it on your finger. Now, if you're a big guy like me with big hands, it still may not fit very well, but nonetheless, I do like these as collectible pieces. Let's take a look at the construct accessories. And here we have this ring blast. I really appreciate the sculpting on this. It looks like an explosion of energy. Here we have this bladed weapon. And this is my favorite of the 4. It actually has a Green Lantern symbol sculpted on it. And I do appreciate that attention to detail. I like all of these jagged parts to this construct, so that looks really creative. Then we have this futuristic blaster. As you can see, the end's a little warped on this one, but this actually looks mechanical, so I appreciate that as well. And last, we have this buzzsaw construct, and this will not cut you despite its appearance. As you can see, this is a very pliable type of material. If you're wondering if they're interchangeable, the 2 larger ones are, and the 2 smaller ones are, the ones for Sinestro and Hal Jordan. Unfortunately, due to the weight, the Sinestro and Hal figures struggle to hold their constructs upright. And here we see the Oa Defenders out of the package and ready to rumble. These figures are not collector-centric. They are more toys than display pieces. However, if you're a collector of all things Green Lantern like me, this is still an attractive set. So let's get a closer look at the loose details now. Let's have a look at Hannu, and I certainly prefer the character's appearance in the comic as opposed to the way that Hannu looked in the film. However, I will say that this figure is an accurate representation of what we saw in the film. Although the figure is mainly one color outside of the symbol, it is sculpted extremely well. There's lots of detail here. Even though the character was designed to look like a pile of rocks, you can still make out a roughly humanoid anatomical structure. For instance, you can certainly tell that this is a face. And I appreciate the sculpting work that was done there. Now, on the opposite end of the spectrum, I'm not a fan of the way the ring was produced. As you can see, it's just a painted Green Lantern symbol, and it looks rather cheap. In terms of articulation, you can get the figure to kick forward that much. He does step back more than I expected, so I do appreciate that. However, the arms are very limited in their articulation. As you can see, you can get them to rock backward and forward, but you can't do a 360 with them, and you can't get them to go out to the sides. And also, there is no neck joint, so the head doesn't move. Now let's have a look at Green Man, and I don't mind this change in design as much as I minded Hannu. I still prefer the comic version, but this is not bad. And in terms of the figure, I think this figure has the best paint applications. There's lots of differentiation in the types of skin, and the various texturing along the body is excellent. You can see how all of this skin looks reptilian, so that's some really impressive work. The figure doesn't come with a stand, but he does have portholes in his feet, so if you have an extra stand somewhere, you could use that. The sculpting and paint applications on the face are outstanding. And another positive for this figure is that he has the best ring of the four. The size, the sculpting, and the paint application are all well done. In terms of articulation, you can get the arms to do a 360 at the shoulder. You can get him to kick forward that far. He steps back pretty far as well, so I appreciate that. You can get him into a good ring-slinging pose. Green Man is the only one of the four figures that has this upper torso swivel, so you can move it around somewhat, and you can rock him back a little bit and get him into a decent flying pose. So I am thankful for that, although he doesn't really stay in place that well. He kind of rocks back into his original position. And unfortunately, this figure doesn't have a neck joint either, so the head doesn't move. Now let's have a look at Sinestro, and this figure is somewhat of a mixed bag, but there are more positives than negatives. For instance, the sculpting is very intricate all the way through the figure. You can see that here on the chest, as well as the Green Lantern symbol. The musculature is accurate to the movie. The ring is decent. It's not great. It's kind of hard to see. This is such a small area. But I think Mattel's work there is adequate. Now, the back is an issue in terms of screen accuracy. Sinestro's uniform in the movie did not have this dark green section that went all the way up to his trapezius. Now, the head sculpt only bears a passing resemblance to Mark Strong. It's still easily identifiable as Sinestro, but some collectors are very picky when it comes to movie figures resembling the actor or actresses who portrayed the character on screen, but for me that's not a huge issue. This figure has 6 points of articulation. He can kick forward that far. Unfortunately, he doesn't step back very far, and the legs don't move out from the sides at all. He does pivot at the waist, and the arms can do a 360, as you can see demonstrated here. And they also have these hinges, so that allows you to raise them up and rotate them in the shoulder joint. So I am thankful for that. The head can look easily side to side, but that is the extent of the neck joint's articulation. And now we'll take a look at Hal Jordan. This is the best figure of the four, which is not surprising since he was the focus of this line. Much like with the Sinestro figure, there is magnificent sculpting throughout the costume on this figure. The paint applications are also solid, and there's more screen accuracy here with this costume than the Sinestro figure. I can't really find any objectionable areas. The Green Lantern chest symbol is done very well, although on this figure I will say that the ring is a little lacking. It's not nearly as well done as the Green Man figure. It's undersized and somewhat difficult to differentiate from the fist, and there's also some extra residue here that I'll have to clean off later. In terms of the head sculpt, I have to give Mattel credit for all of their Hal Jordan figures in this line resembling Ryan Reynolds. You can see the detail here on the hair, the shape of the face, the mask, Everything is done very well. Even if you're just glancing at this figure, you can tell that it's Ryan Reynolds. In terms of articulation, the figure kicks forward that much. Unfortunately, he does not step back. The waist pivots back and forth very well, so I'm appreciative of that. The arms are on a hinge that rotate in the shoulder socket. You can do a 360 with both of the arms, so you can get the figure into the big power pose if you wish. The head moves easily from side to side, but that is the extent of the articulation from the neck joint. The head doesn't move up or down. And now some final thoughts on this 4-pack. I think that any kid who likes Green Lantern would be very happy to receive this box set, especially considering the accessories and the wearable ring. At the same time, veteran adult Green Lantern collectors may find this box set attractive due to the inclusion of lanterns who are rarely represented in collectibles. If you decide to pick up this box set, don't let any sellers gouge you. You should be able to pick up this 4-pack for no more than $40 mint in package. I hope you have enjoyed this review. If so, please like and subscribe. Remember to catch me on the Emerald Echo podcast, where we cover the adventures of all of your favorite ring slingers. And I'll be back with more Green Lantern related content soon. But until we meet again, this has been the Emerald Enthusiast, and thanks for watching.